How are you, teacher?
I'm all right. I just had some issues with my internet connection, particularly with because I'm using my cell phone to connect, to log in and for everything, as probably many students. And I don't know why the cell phone was behaving um, very strange, and that's how it took me a while to get connected. But hopefully, I'm going to restart the cell phone, and this is going to be fixed. Good morning, everyone. So I apologize for the late start for today. I think I'm going to start restarting the cell phone before, and or I'm going to change the cell phone somehow. Okay, I'll see to that so that it's not happening again. Um, Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to review some aspects of the rhythm and the syllable. This is part of what is called suprasegmental features of the English language. This is going beyond the sounds, right? This is talking about how sounds interact with each other, but basically the beats that each language has, because every language has a rhythm, and rhythm is part of what can make communication improve, or sometimes it makes a conversation a bit difficult. So this is the aspects that we're going to be dealing today. Um, Suprasegmental features, rhythm, and stress. Um, so as you can read here in the slide, it says rhythm is both a feature of and a product of the phonological structure of English. And English is a rhythmical language, um, just like many others. But the point is that the rhythm has to do with stress. And that's something that it's important for us Spanish speakers and for all who speak languages which are which rhythm is not based on stress. Um, Rhythm is a movement in speech, um, and the aspects of stress, timing, and quantity of syllables is very important. Why is this very important? Because there are some languages which are based on syllables, or they are called syllable timed languages, and others which are based on syllables, and they're called syllable timed languages. Okay. Now, rhythm has a lot to do with stress, as I mentioned before, and also about those syllables which are not stressed, because the unstressed syllables, or the one which are not stressed, are usually reduced syllables, or which used reduced vowel sounds. And in general, all of them would use a schwa. And then the point is that when you have several schwas, you can compress the syllables, and they can fit into strong in between strong beats. Let me give you a clear explanation. As but before, let's take a look at the examples here. We have the words atlas, support, anchor, computer, and sofa. All of them have, as you can see here, a highlighted schwa. And the thing is that if you go to spelling, the first one, atlas, is spelled with an A here. This one is spelled with a U. This one is spelled with an O, just like this one. This one is spelled with an E, and this one with an A. So spelling is one system, right, which is not actually quite helpful when we need to define which vowel sounds should be pronounced schwa. But if you know which syllable is stressed, if you know that in the first case, the first syllable is stressed, at least there's a high probability that the unstressed syllable is a schwa. Okay, and this makes a lot of difference, because when you get many schwas in a sentence, several words in a sentence, the rhythm is going to be faster. If we look at the concept that I mentioned before, stress time languages and syllable time languages, this is a very interesting illustration that can help us understand what a syllable time language looks like and what stress time language looks like. In some languages, every syllable has more or less the same amount of emphasis. All right. So those would be called syllable time languages. In other languages like English, some syllables receive more emphasis, right? And others not. So the one that received more emphasis are called stressed syllables, and the one which do not receive the same emphasis are called unstressed syllables. So examples of these languages are English, German, as far as I know, Russian, for example. In the syllable time languages like Spanish or French, Turkish, they work with syllable time languages. So each syllable gets the same emphasis, the same amount of strength. So that's the idea. To give you an example, to make a difference between stress time languages and syllable time languages, remember that English should be considered a stress time language and Spanish a syllable time language. If we imagine an orchestra conductor, and we see several who are applying for the same position, and one says 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And the orchestra plays accordingly to the rhythm, just like a metronome. This is the device which is used to dictate, right, the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second one who is applying for the job says 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And the other one says 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And the other one, the last one says 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. If you pay attention, the first one just mentioned the numbers, keeping the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second one inserted and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The third one inserted and a, and a, and a. And the last one inserted and then a, and then a. All right? So the rhythm was exactly the same. You can follow the beat. In the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the last one, and then a 1, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4. What's the impact or importance of this? That English keeps beats or stronger beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And in between these strong beats, you can squish several reduced syllables. You can insert several unstressed syllables that could be 1, 2, 3, or even 4 or more. That doesn't happen in Spanish because Spanish is remember, a syllable time language. So in Spanish and other syllable time languages, we emphasize all the syllables with the same importance. We give each each syllable the same importance. Okay, so what's the point with this stress time languages, or how these stress timing works? For example, in this word camera, right, we can identify 3 syllables. Camera. It's easier to identify the 3 syllables because we can identify 3 vowel sounds. A, camera, camera. Right? And we can understand or identify that the first syllable is the one stressed. Camera. It's not chimera. It's not camera. Camera. Right? So it's very important to remember that at a word level, all words have a syllable which is stressed, and others which are unstressed. So, for example, the other case is that some words like record, suspect, and project can be pronounced record, suspect, project. So sometimes, even though they have a stress pattern, we can change the stress pattern to change the part of speech from, for example, a noun to a verb. Because record is a noun and record is a verb. Suspect is a noun and suspect is a verb. And the same with project and project. So it's very important first to remember when we deal with stress time languages that at a word level we are stressing one specific syllable in a word. So in this sense, stress has a correlation with rhythm, or the other way around, rhythm has a correlation with stress. Because if we are able to identify stress in words, we will see that there is a rhythm in a sentence. Stress, as it is defined here in this slide, is a degree of emphasis given to a sound or a syllable. Okay, we're going to identify that sometimes in longer words or in multisyllabic words, words that have probably 3, I would say 4, 5, or 6 syllables, there is a primary stress, and some words also have a secondary stress, particularly when words are made up of 2 words. So we have a compound word, or when words are attached prefixes or suffixes, right? And we will see that sometimes is the core word which is stressed. Let's see some examples, all right? Daniel Duque, oh, sorry, could you read one of these examples, please?
Okay. I can see. When are you coming to dinner?
Perfect. So according to the instruction, Daniel, it says that note that the content words in red, these are stressed more or pronounced louder and longer than the function words, not functions words. Do you agree with that? Do you think that when, coming, and dinner receive more emphasis than the other words?
Yeah.
Okay. When are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? Are you, t. So probably you and to could get a schwa. Are you coming to? Right? And maybe are could be When are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? It's not a full are, right? We don't say when are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? So what's important in this sentence is the interrogative word, because it's not what time, it's not where, it's not I don't know, any other is when. So that's important, right? And then the verb is very important. And finally, the noun. It's not breakfast. It's not lunch. It's dinner. So that has to be very important for the listener. That's why we have to stress this content word. Well, first of all, are you all familiar with what a content word is? Macarena Vargas, are you familiar with the concept content word and function word before we move on?
Not really.
Okay, I appreciate the honesty. Anyone would like to, take a or try to define what a content word is or a function word is, or maybe give examples also will do.
Me,
Okay, thank you so much.
I remember that content words refers to, for example, verbs, nouns, and the function words refer to prepositions, prepositions, and no, I don't remember well, but
No, but you're right. Excellent. You're very
okay.
very, yeah, excellent. On right on the spot. So as Catalina mentioned, content words are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. All the importance that carry a lot of meaning, actually, right? Because we use nouns to name things, right? Verbs to denote or refer to an action. We use adjectives to qualify things or people, right? And adverbs to refer to the manner in which things are done, like quickly, right? So they are very, very important to convey the meaning when you are talking to someone. And Catalina mentioned that function words are, for example, prepositions. Exactly. Prepositions, articles, right? And sometimes even pronouns, because unless you are stressing the pronoun because of a particular reason, like, for example, if you say, it was you who did it, it was you, and then you probably switch to, I saw you, it was you who did this. So then at that point, you are stressing the pronoun, but because of a particular reason, right? You are emphasizing you in that particular context because of whatever. But the point is, usually pronouns are not emphasized or stressed. So let's take a look at the second example if it complies with what we're dealing with in this class. Natalie Rebolledo, could you read aloud the second example, please?
Um, Motorcycles can be dangerous to drive or ride on.
Thank you so much. Do you agree that these are the segments in each one of the words that should be stressed?
Yes.
Can we say motorcycles can be dangerous to drive or ride on?
To emphasize, yes.
Exactly, right? We can choose to emphasize can, exactly, that's right. Motorcycles can be dangerous to drive or ride on. They cannot, they can, right? But if you choose to emphasize can, we have to switch from using can with a schwa to using can with a trap. Instead of saying can, we have to say can, right? Because we are choosing to emphasize, as Natalie said, that it was also an option, right? It's also something that we could do. Motorcycles can be dangerous to drive or ride on. Motorcycles can be dangerous to drive or ride on. So again, we might be able to perceive a certain rhythm, a rhythm in which stressed syllables keep a very steady beat, da, 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 and then other syllables which are unstressed are fit or are squished into each one of these strong beats. We have to test these theories, right? We may not agree with them. There are some phoneticians who say, yeah, English is a stress time language, and it works like that, right? Speakers follow a specific rhythm. Other phoneticians or linguists do not fully agree with this and say that, yeah, it happens, but not in every single case, to make this a very strong theory. Catherine Madurana, could you read the last example, please?
Yes, sure. Sorry for the dogs.
All right.
Last month, Carol got a job in San Francisco.
All right. Thank you so much. Comments? Do you think it follows this idea of a rhythmic pattern in which strong beats are followed by weaker beats? Last month, Carol got a job in San Francisco. Maybe, maybe not, but we can see that there is a succession of strong beats. Last month, not last month, last month, Carol, we would have this stress syllable, and then we would have an unstressed one. Got is the unstressed one. Job, stressed. In, unstressed. San, stressed. Francisco, and the middle syllable would be the stressed one. So what some linguists or phoneticians are suggesting or proposing is that rhythm in English is quite consistent, and it has to do with having a strong beat followed by one or more weak beats that are squished in between those strong beats. Okay, so and the what's the point? What's the importance or relevance for us who are learning a language and who are going to teach this language? The point is that if there are three or four or more syllables which are unstressed in between these stressed syllables, the unstressed syllables or the weak syllables will be spoken faster to keep the rhythm. And the stressed syllables will be spoken louder, longer, and with a higher pitch. Because that's why we understand and are able to identify which are the strong syllables. In the first one, when are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? When are you coming to dinner? We're able to identify, I mean, they are in red, but what if they weren't in red? We would be able to identify that when, come, and din are the strong syllables because they are louder. We're able to perceive them more clearly. They're longer in terms of length. They take a little bit of time, right, to be produced, and they have a higher pitch. Therefore, it's easier for the listener to identify what's the emphasis in the utterance produced by the speaker. Remember that it's all about improving and bettering the communication. So as a speaker, you want the listener to understand which is the focus of your message and which are the important segments of the message. That's why you make sure that the important words, in this case, the content words, are louder, longer, and with a higher pitch. Let's take a look at this exercise. Javiera Treviños, could you read the instruction, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Practice the beat and rhythm again. Try tapping with your finger on a table while saying the sentences. The stressed syllables should be said on the top. All three sentences have 4 stressed syllables and should take about the same amount of time to say.
Okay, let's try this exercise. Even though I may agree or not with the first one, let's try for the sake of the exercise. So we're giving 3 sentences, and we're told the first sentence has 4 syllables. The second one contains 8 syllables, and the last one contains 15 syllables. Even though they have a different number of syllables, all three, as Javier read, all three have 4 stressed syllables. So when you read them aloud, try snap your fingers or tap with your finger on a table or grab a pencil, right? And see if you can follow the rhythm while you are. All right, so Carla Trujillo, could you try reading them aloud, please? As I mentioned before, the idea is to agree with instruction, and maybe the exercise should be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if you can try, Carla, to read these 3 sentences aloud, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Bob ate some corn. Kenny has gone to France and back.
Excellent.
The Americans are buying some souvenirs and posters.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Very, very well done. Even though I don't agree quite with the first one, right? Bob ate, because I would say Bob ate some corn. Bob ate some corn. I would say, I think it's just 3 beats, right? But according to the example, Bob ate some corn. Excellent. Kenny has gone to France and back. The Americans are buying some souvenirs and posters. The Americans are buying some souvenirs and posters. It's not like we're reading them or we're reading these statements or utterances as a robot, right? But we're reading them to understand that there are some segments or sections in words that are stressed. And therefore, if we see the distance in between these stressed syllables or beats, right, strong beats, they are quite regular, very, very regular. They happened at a very specific intervals and very consistent intervals, right? So that is the idea about rhythm in English. It is accordingly to what many authors say, it is consistent. It happens at regular intervals, and in between you can insert or introduce or squish several unstressed syllables, and the rhythm is not going to change. Okay. Now remember that the beginning I said that there was a correlation between rhythm and stress, right? Rhythm and stress. So let's take a look at this exercise in which you have to switch the word stress, and after you switch the word stress, you will see that there is a different word in terms of part of speech. I have some examples here, and I would like to have some volunteers. So what about Alejandra Gonzalez? Could you read 2 sentences? And then Catalina Salcedo, can you take the next 2? Claudio Avila, can you take the following? And Pablo Rojas, can you take the next two? So I guess so far we have 2, 4, 6, 8, and the last 2 for a volunteer. So Alejandra, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, the first 2, please.
If you perfect your intonation, your accent will be perfect.
Okay, try again saying perfect in the first one, perfect. And the second one, just like you said it, right? Perfect.
If you perfect your intonation, your accent will be perfect.
Very good. Try again saying accent, accent. Okay.
If you perfect your intonation, your accent will be perfect.
All right, very well, very well. Remember accent, right? Accent. Your accent will be exactly excellent. Now the second one, please, Alejandra.
How can you object to this object?
All right. So this is tricky because how can you say that? How can you look at me? How can you, and there's a verb here, right? How can you do something? And this should be a noun. So as this is the verb, the syllable, which is the stressed one, should be the last one. So object, object. And this is a noun. Object, object. So try again, this time stressing the second syllable, object, because this is a verb. And here, the first syllable, object. Can you try that again, please?
Okay. How can you object to this object?
Excellent. Excellent. How can you object to this object? Very well done. Thank you so much, Alejandra. Thank you. The third and the fourth one, please. Who's in charge?
Me.
All right, Catalina.
I'd like to present you with this present.
Excellent. Try again with present. Z, z. Okay?
Present.
Excellent.
And the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the manufacturer couldn't recall if there had been a recall.
Excellent. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Recall, recall. The idea is to switch the west stress as Catalina did it, right? From the second syllable to the first one. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much, Catalina. Let's take a look at the next 2. Who's in charge?
Me, Claudio.
Claudio, go ahead, please.
The religious convert wanted to convert the world.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
The political rebels wanted to rebel against the war.
All right, very good. Now try, okay, in the first one, rebels, and the second one, rebel. Rebel. Try again the whole sentence,
Okay.
please.
The political rebels wanted to rebel against the war.
Okay, remember that you need to switch to the second syllable, rebel. So rebel, rebel. Try again, please.
The political rebel wanted to rebel against the war.
Excellent. That's right. You got it. You got it. Rebels and rebel. And you did it very fine in the first one. The religious convert wanted to convert to the world. Perfect. So convert would be the noun and convert the verb. The same as rebel would be the noun, or rebels, right? And rebel, the verb. Thank you so much, Claudio. Who's in charge of the...
Me.
Paulo, go ahead, please.
Okay. I can't really project how this project would turn out.
Okay, good.
And the other one is, you need to insert a paragraph here in this newspaper insert.
Excellent, Paulo. Very, very well done. You were able to identify the switch of the word stress in each one of the words. In the first one, project, because it's the verb, right? And project, the noun. That was very, very well done. And in the second one, insert as the verb, and insert as the noun. Okay. This is a very interesting word, newspaper insert. I don't know if, I think we call it quite similar in Spanish. Do you know the meaning of this? A newspaper insert? I think you pay for it, right? And if you want a message to be publicly given to a lot of people through the newspaper, you pay for a newspaper insert, right? So insert. And the last two are for a volunteer. Or Maria Paz. Maria Paz, could you read the last two, please? Oh, that's a tough word to say. Is Maria Paz here? The word is drought, by the way, okay? Drought. Josefina Cubillos, are you here? Darwin Quesada? That was my last shot, my last bullet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Darwin, could you read aloud the last two, please? The word is drought, by the way.
Okay. Due to the drought, the fields didn't produce much produce this year.
Okay, try this time, because we have in the first one didn't, and we know that this one should be a verb, right? Didn't produce. Yes, produce. And then much, yes, produce. And this one, exactly, produce. Can you try again, please?
Okay. Due to the drought, the fields didn't produce much produce this year.
Remember to stress the first syllable in. No, don't be. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Due to the drought, the fields didn't produce much produce this year.
Okay. I think you're still stressing the same syllable, right? But I think you get the idea. It's just that it takes a while to get used to it. Yeah. Due to the drought. Yeah. Due to the drought, the fields didn't produce much produce this year, right? Produce much produce. I think we're not very familiar with this. It has to do with vegetables, right? Much produce. All the products that are vegetables, we can call them produce. So yeah, even in, I don't know, supermarkets, you know, you go to buy and you see a sign that says meat or poultry, and a sign that says produce. Produce means that all the vegetables are there for you to buy them as a customer. So the fields didn't produce much produce. A drought is what we call in Spanish sequía. Sequía is a drought. So because of the drought, no rains, no water, right? The fields didn't produce much produce, much vegetables this year. That's a point. So produce and then produce. Okay, let's take a look at the second one, all right? Or the last one.
Okay. Unfortunately, City Hall won't permit them to get a permit.
All right, excellent. You got this one. Right on. permit them to get a yeah, and then permit. Excellent. Unfortunately, this is a very long word, very hard to say. Unfortunately, City Hall, I guess we would say this in Spanish, municipalidad, right? I guess City Hall wouldn't permit them to get a permit. Permit. You got it very well. But does anyone have a comment or question so far?
No, teacher.
Okay.
I think not.
All right. I'm going to upload this to the LMS. Okay. And the idea is that you remember that rhythm is very important in English, and that's a feature, a suprasegmental feature that is very difficult for speakers whose native language is not stress time, but syllable time. Unfortunately for Spanish speakers, Spanish is syllable time, so we give each syllable the same amount of emphasis or relevance, linguistically speaking. Whereas in English, not all of the syllables are so important. So the ones which are important are stressed or are more prominent. That's a good word in English, in linguistic, right? Prominent. What is a prominent syllable? Prominent syllable is a syllable which is longer, right? Louder, and right high. And then we need to learn this sort of rhythmic patterns that are present in order more to sound, I wouldn't say more natural or native-like, but not impact communication, basically. Okay. The next session, we're going to take a look at the components of a syllable. But basically, in a syllabus, we will see that the most important part of a syllabus is the nucleus. And the nucleus is always going to be a vowel sound. No vowel sound, no nucleus, no syllable, basically. So the nucleus are the most important guest of the party, the birthday boy or the birthday girl. No nucleus, no syllable. So always the nucleus is a vowel sound. And whatever comes after, whatever sound comes after this vowel sound in the same syllable, we're going to call it coda. And whatever comes after, we're going to call it onset. For example, the word cat, and with this example, we finish the session. The word cat has only one syllable, cat. One vowel sound, one syllable, cat, right? Now, or the trap would be the nucleus, right? The sound that comes after is t. That is the coda, t. And this sound that comes before the nucleus is k. That would be the onset. Okay, and the vowel sound the trap, and the t, the coda, are the rhyme. Don't worry, we're going to see this next class. This was just a spoiler. Okay, so I'll see you next session. I will upload this to the LMS in case you want to take a look at it. Don't worry, Josefina, I understand that. Myself, I had issues starting the class because of the internet connection. So thank you for joining the session today. I will see you next class. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, teacher.
Bye,